Jó reggelt kívánok! Hogy vagy? Jó? Hmm. Boy, that's good. It's a sunny morning. The sun is coming in. And the first few days that I was here, mornings were rather cold and overcast and just a lot of fog. And the last couple days, woken up to just beautiful, beautiful blue skies. So I'm just getting underway with my day. Hmm. Just getting underway underway with my day, and as I do, Savannah is messaging me a little thing. I told her today's show was called "Figuring It Out," and when I looked for the picture, so whenever I'm going to do a show such as this one, I will I'm just going about my morning, and I'm thinking about whatever, and some phrase comes into my mind like figuring it out. So I went on to Google Images on my phone and just search figuring it out. And there's no shortage of images. The image I use for the thumbnail on this video, I'm figuring it out as I go along. I'm good at that. And hmm, that's pretty much what I'm doing. So the last couple days, last 3 or 4 days have been I've been under the weather with a cold, and it's actually gotten better. I think the cold symptoms have gotten better. I had the whole runny nose thing. I had the whole runny nose thing going on, and sneezing and all that kind of stuff. But today I'm actually feeling better. So as far as the figuring it out goes, ever since I went into that ever since I went into that Medicare office back in Tamworth, and the gentleman at the desk had asked me if I had considered applying for citizenship. Up until that time, I really, I really hadn't given that a lot of thought. I hadn't given the whole aspect of Australian citizenship a lot of thought. But as the ideas rolled around in my head for the last few days, I found myself thinking that it may not be a it may not be a totally bad idea. So the it may not be a bad idea to at least explore the possibility of Australian citizenship. And I say that for a few reasons. One, first and foremost, is I love America. I mean, America is, in my opinion, the greatest country to have ever graced the face of the earth. But that being said, America is not without its problems. And the problems that America is facing right now are I think, unlike a lot of the problems that our nation has faced in the 200 some years history of America. Not that America hasn't faced great challenges before. Now I'm talking internal. Good morning. I'm talking internal challenges. Okay, I'm talking the internal challenges. America has faced, you know, great challenges like the world wars and what have you. But you probably, I don't know. I mean, maybe you'd have to go back to the Civil War. Maybe you'd have to go back to the Civil War to find an internal challenge that the United States has faced that's been as challenging as this one. And the racism, the racism and the division between the haves and the have-nots, and the left and the right. I don't know that all is going to get solved uh, anytime soon. And then watching how the United States is coping and dealing with the whole pandemic thing. I was reading today that Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci was saying that it's not unrealistic to think that the United States could reach a point where it's getting 100,000, 100,000 cases of coronavirus per day, per day, 100,000 cases. And, all of those are all of the thoughts that go around in my mind when I think about filing for Australian citizenship. And, I was looking at the statistics yesterday for Australia. And, and statistically, Australia has had something like 767,000 cases of COVID. 760,000 cases. I think the US has had well over 2 million. The virus is weakening, only point there. Okay. So the United States has had well over 2 million. And I was looking at the stats, and Australia has had roughly 770,000 cases, of which all but 700 have recovered, and 10 deaths. 10 people in the country have died. That's 10 people too many, but 10 people compared to what is America up to now? 130,000 people dead. And you can look at the numbers, you can look at the mortality rate and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think that there's a soul out there that would look at the mortality rate and say, oh, okay, it's okay if I get it. I don't care. Nobody wants to get COVID, regardless of how small the mortality rate is or whatever, because there's always that chance. There's always that possibility. But anyway, so I went on a website yesterday and I was looking at the, it's 6:13 here and you're making me want a cup of coffee. Hope it's good. It is good. It is good. But I was looking at the application process to apply for citizenship here in Australia. And one of the interesting requirements was that you got to be in Australia. If you want to apply for citizenship, it helps if you're actually in Australia. And so there are many more human beings suffer and perish before the vaccine, yeah. But to apply for citizenship, you've got to be in Australia, and there's a cutoff. There's a cutoff with the age. I think the age is like 60 or something like that. And then you have to say that you're going to spend a fair amount of time here, and you've got to be familiar with Australia. That was the one thing that caught my attention. One of the requirements for applying for Australian citizenship is you have to be familiar with the country. And oh goodness gracious. I could just see me sitting across the desk from an immigration officer and saying, have you ever had fish and chips in Mount Eliza on the Mornington Peninsula on a Friday night? Or have you visited Bright during the autumn? Oh my goodness, Bright during the autumn is just fantastic. And oh, you've got to, the main street of Bendigo. The main street of Bendigo is just fantastic. But I'm familiar with Australia, and somebody just made a comment. Why not Hungary? And that's a fair enough question because I love Hungary. But you know what? I don't speak the language. Oh, sure, I can say Yorigelt Kivano Kujvaj, and I can say Gerek Sepen Kichi Kave Katu Edeshitu, I can say little stuff to just get me by, but no. I don't. I don't necessarily want to find myself. It's an interesting thought when you think about where you want to spend the rest of your life. I often find myself thinking, hmm, I often find myself thinking that if I were laying in a hospital bed, in a hospital room, if I were laying in a hospital bed, in a hospital room, would I want the people that are taking care of me to be able to understand me and me understand them? Or what have you. And that's, silly as that may sound, I may never see the inside of a hospital or hospital room or whatever, or hospital bed. I may never ever see that. But ultimately, when you're thinking about where you want to end up and what have you, that's one of the things that you think about. And then, as you're getting older, you start to think about healthcare. I don't think that I've met an Aussie yet. I don't think that I've met an Aussie yet that's really had a bad thing to say about about. I don't think I've had an Aussie yet that has had a bad thing to say about the healthcare. They have the public healthcare down here, and then a lot of citizenry will go out and get private insurance to supplement the public health insurance. But I think about that. Back home, I've got, I don't have health insurance back home. I have health benefits. I'm through the VA, and knock on wood, um, the VA has treated me quite well over the years. And, but fact of the matter is I don't have health insurance. And as far as coming down here and getting citizenship in Australia, I would have the benefit of the health insurance. So, those are some of the considerations, but, there's also the consideration of what I could contribute, what I could contribute. If I were to go down you're welcome. If I were to go down that path of applying for citizenship, there's got to be, here comes your 50-cent word or phrase. There's got to be a quid quo pro. Quid quo pro. It's actually 3 words, but they add up together. Maybe, well, the 3 of them add up together to be $1.50. Quid quo pro. No, pro's not a 50-cent word, but quid quo, quid and quo, those are 50-cent words. But why not consider? Well, that's what I'm thinking about, is dual citizenship. That's the way that I'm leaning right now, is dual citizenship. If I could get dual citizenship. But, quid quo pro is a Latin term that I learned a long time ago. And I know Mark in Michigan, he knows what quid quo pro is. Mark's a smart guy. He sits around and he smokes his pipe. And he's got a book, he's got bookcases all throughout the house with all these books that he's read. And so Mark knows what quid quo pro is. But for those of you who may not be familiar, there's a little bit of my cough. For those of you that may not be familiar, quid quo pro is an even exchange. What am I giving, in relation to what I'm getting? And one of the things, and this is probably just, I don't know if this is wishful thinking or a pipe dream, but it's a thing that I would actually love to do, would be teaching. Teaching what I do, teaching, the skills that have gotten me to where I'm at here in life. And, teaching would be something that would be rewarding. I once heard, I was walking on a beach in New Zealand several years ago, and I was listening to a show. And it was the Dave Ramsey show, I think it was, financial talk show, and he had a guest on. And the guest said, men, and he was including women in that, but people, okay, people or men or whatever, but men spend the first half of their life seeking wealth, and the second half of their life seeking purpose. Let that roll around in your head a little bit. Men spend the first half of their life seeking wealth and the second half of their life seeking purpose. And here at 56 years old, I don't know that $1 million is wealth, but I guess it is. You know, um, the I find myself at the point in time where I'm still seeking wealth. Don't get me wrong. Uh, I'm still seeking wealth, but there's that part of me also that's seeking purpose, and and teaching would be an interesting thing to do, to take up, toward the latter part of my life, perhaps. But anyway, and then as far as Australia goes, another consideration: Australia and New Zealand. I just throw them both in the same bucket. Okay, Australia and New Zealand are awesome. I've traveled the world. I've been around the world. I've run out of spaces in my passport more than once. Australia and New Zealand are awesome, awesome countries. The people, the scenery, the weather, um, they're awesome, awesome, awesome places. And to think that I could sneak in under the radar and get citizenship, my goodness gracious, wouldn't that be something? So anyway, I need to get on with my day. Hmm. After I retire, I need to get on with my day, and some thoughts about Savannah. I hope I pronounce her name right, Savannah, Savannah, something like that. Those of you that are on my mailing list, I sent out some pictures yesterday of Savannah that she shared with me. Those of you that, I don't know how many of you are on that list, but 50 of you or something like that. But I sent you some pictures that were a good representation of Savannah, Sylvie. Maybe I'll call her Sylvie. That's what I'll call her. I'll call her Sylvie. But I sent out some pictures of her, and there was one picture where she was all wrapped up. And somebody out there said, "Boy, I hope she's not Muslim," or something like that. And no, that picture was just more representative of her personality. I was telling her that I was teasing her in a conversation one day that she was seducing me or something like that, or something. I can't remember, and I said, all you have to do is just turn on the camera, and you're seducing me, as beautiful as you are. And she sent me a picture where she was all wrapped up. Savannah, yeah, Silvana, Silvana, Silvana. But what's interesting about her, and I was telling her this the other day. I cannot remember. I cannot remember the last time in my life that a woman has looked at me with the adoring eyes that Savannah looks at me with. I mean, they say the eyes are the countenance to the soul. I'm just throwing 50-cent words out there like they're, nothing today. But they say the eyes are the countenance to the soul. And when I talk to Savannah, I don't remember the last time. I don't remember the last time that a woman looked at me as adoringly as Savannah looks at me. And to be quite honest with you, I just can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. I look at this woman who is just as Simon said, she's a beautiful soul. You know, she's a beautiful soul, and I just can't figure out what she sees in me. I can't figure it out, but I'm gonna milk it. I'm gonna milk it and ride it as long as I can, because boy, I mean, I just sent out some pictures, to those of you in my We Care mailing list. But her personality is, oh my goodness, she's got such an adorable, endearing disposition, and so anyway, we will see what comes of the whole. We'll see what comes of the about time what, Sue Smith? About time what? We will see what. I was watching the show A Place in the Sun and started to well up when I saw the prices for a home in Spain. Yeah, but actualize your dreams. But you know what? I look at somebody. I look at somebody like Savannah, and I look at somebody like myself, and you know what? I may. I think that. I think that I think that Savannah and I think that I don't know if she deserves me, or I don't know if I deserve her, or whatever. But anyway, time will tell. I mean, we're facing a. You've traveled the world. You do all right for yourself. You're a good conversationalist. She sees that. Hope everything works out for you. It's interesting that you should say I'm a good conversationalist. I was talking to Rosanna yesterday. Remember Rosanna? I was talking to Rosanna, and bless her heart. I Rosanna, I Rosanna's a wonderful lady. She really is. I was talking to Rosanna, and I was telling Rosanna a little bit about Savannah. Interestingly enough, and Rosanna said, "You know what?" She said, "You know what, Tom?" Because I was telling her, I said, "I just don't know what Savannah sees in me." And Rosanna said, "Tom, you're a good conversationalist. You're good at conversation." That's maybe that's what she sees in you. So anyway, all right. I need to get on. I need to get on with my day. I got to ask Silvana. I got to ask her how big of a wedding we're going to have. Are we going to have the horse-drawn carriage? Are we going to have a horse-drawn carriage? Or are we going to have, all of that kind of stuff? But no, I'm just teasing her. But I joke a lot about her. Sometimes I'll be talking to her. Sometimes I'll be talking to her on the Facebook Messenger, and I just can't help but to say it. I just blurt out, "I'm gonna marry you. I'm gonna marry you." Just matter of factly, I'm gonna marry you. You're her cup of tea. I don't know, Mark. You know what? I just don't know what. I don't know, but oh God. Hmm. Anyway, but that's about it. I need to get on with my I need to get on with my day. Talking about figuring it out. I need to figure out where I'm gonna go. I've got 2 more nights here, Wednesday and Thursday night, and I need to figure out where I'm gonna go. There was a place called, and you can look this up. It's called Tweed, like a tweed suit, Tweed, Tweed Heads. Look that up. Look up Tweed Heads, okay? Tweed Heads. And Tweed Heads is a place that's just shy of the border of Queensland. And I may go rent an apartment there for a week. I need to get back to the water. That's where I'm most at home. I need to get back to the ocean. And I may go rent a place in Tweed Heads on my way up to Queensland. And then, I don't know where I'm going to go. I'm pretty sure I'm going to I'm pretty sure I'm going to Queensland. I'm 90% sure I'm going back to Queensland. And there's some nice communities up there. One is Caloundra, Coloundra or something, Caloundra. And I may just go up there. What I need is I just need to rent a place for, 1 to 3 months, have a little stability. Wait for the springtime and go to Tasmania. Tasmania in the spring. Doesn't that sound good? So anyway, time to get on with my day. Hope everybody out there has a has a great day. Take good care.